Hey, and we're live today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with Tyler Williams, who's the Director of Scientific Services at PathoSans. And PathoSans has been innovating, engineering, and manufacturing electrically chemically activated solutions. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, OMG, that's a huge mouthful. And what on earth does that mean? Well, I'm really excited because today we're going to tell you. So thank you so much for joining us here today. I know you're probably here because you have an interest in cleaning. What? Cleaning? I know it's true, but yeah, here we are. Do you have any stories of anybody that has switched from regular cleaning over to the ECAS system, aside from the nosebleed guy, that has been really satisfied with the results and then has decided this is the new way and they're not going to go back?
I'd say we have a good majority of our school clients that do say that as well. They adopted us actually during or right at the COVID era, and they started cleaning with it more and realizing the safety aspect of it as well and said, wow, our schools have never looked more clean. And now we don't have that fragrance everywhere, to the point where they said, we felt safe enough to give our teachers bottles of this chemistry from your device so they could clean and disinfect the rooms on site while the kids were out at recess, and we knew the kids wouldn't come back and put their elbows and arms on their desks and get chemical burns. That was a big problem in that era, was people went back to what they knew, and we went up against the culture of, well, if it can harm me, it's going to kill the virus. So let's just spray it everywhere. Let's fog it everywhere. And that really wasn't the case. We proved we were effective while still being sustainable and safe for the end user and the environment.
Well, and that's an interesting point you would bring up. And I saw a lot of damage during the pandemic where people
Mhm.
were spraying disinfectants and
Mhm.
then leaving them for 10 minutes. And it was eating through fabrics and it was eating through
Mhm.
desktops and things like that, where it was ruining the finishes. And you mentioned already that this can't go on some finishes, so do be careful. But
Mhm.
what is the dwell time? Because that's something that we really became aware of during the pandemic, was
Mhm.
the dwell time that you had to leave it on for a certain amount of time in order for it to be effective. What are we looking at with PathoSans?
Cleaner itself does not really have a dwell time. It's just a cleaner. You got to use it. Some stubborn buildup requires multiple applications or a little more at each time. So there's really no concern about the contact time there. Our disinfectant product, however, has kind of a range of kill times. We do have some 10 minutes, but that's for the big nasty ones, the ones where they're under a 5% a soil load, making it more hard to kill, down to 1 minute, which we have proven against SARS-CoV-2, the virus that got some bad rap a few years back. So depending on the virus, depending on the bacterium, it can all change. But yeah, we have one of the faster kill times for the general spectrum of bacteria.
So, what about porous surfaces?
In terms of cleaning, our cleaner itself has been recognized as wool safe. So that's a third party organization that tests our fluid against a red wool carpet. So if there was ever a surface and color to be concerned about, it would certainly be that combination. And we passed that. In terms of our disinfectant, we do have a porous claim, but that's a certain product to do that. Not something we typically market out to disinfect porous surfaces. It's very difficult to do and prove. So we say clean first and disinfect second.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. So with the clean and disinfecting then, is your process the same? You use the clean products to clean with and then the disinfecting product to disinfect?
Yes, you cannot disinfect a dirty surface. We're big
Right.
believers on that. And because we make both fluids, what better excuse to clean first and come back and use your disinfectant as that insurance policy? If there's any little bit of visible soil, that bacteria is going to harbor itself in that and be very difficult to kill.
Since we're talking to professional cleaners and homeowners today, what are situations in which a disinfecting would be required? I know for hospitals, certainly, but for the
Mhm.
average person, I mean, like we're noticing lots of homes, people are opening cardboard boxes and putting them inside their microwave, and that's what they're eating for dinner. It's not like they're doing open heart surgery on their
Oh,
kitchen cupboard, you know? So,
yeah,
what is it that we're actually disinfecting inside our homes?
that's a great. So when you think of disinfecting, you're already talking about something that can make you sick that's a living organism or somewhat alive. So bacteria, viruses are kind of the two key words. So if you're trying to get rid of those, that's when disinfecting is key. So maybe after someone's sick, you'd want to disinfect high touch surfaces or an accident involving a cut or scrape or something like that. You'd want to clean the area and ensure there's no bad bugs there. And then sometimes, depending on how you look at it, food prep itself, if you're bringing in a lot of raw fruits and vegetables and have them across the counter, you can wash your vegetables too with this, I'd like to add. But then you could spray and disinfect that surface so any of the bugs that came in on those vegetables that fell on the hard surface are now gone.
So, for homeowners and for professional cleaners, if we're talking about hazardous materials, somebody's vomited, somebody's urined on the
Mhm.
floor, dog peed or whatever,
Yeah.
when we clean up those areas, we
Mhm.
clean those areas first and then we disinfect. And I would
Correct.
say for those of you that are cleaning up after mice, if you find a mice that comes into your house, we're going to follow the same protocols for that. And we're going to clean and then we're going to disinfect with the PathoSans product. One other thing that I am wanting to know here, you talked about surface cleaning. Is it okay to use for desks on desk for offices? And
Oh.
I think you mentioned with the
Mhm.
wood surface, if it's like a really expensive wood desk, be careful
Mhm.
on the wood surface. Other surface types that it can be used on in general areas like that.
Oh, absolutely. We're in schools all over the country. We're in office spaces all over the country. Just about any of your standard office desk, whatever may come, that's that vinyl or plastic or something along those lines, no issues whatsoever with compatibility. If it's just a hard vinyl covered type desk, no issues there.
All right. So, speaking about offices and speaking about high touch areas, because you touched on that real briefly, if we're not talking about disease and germs and viruses and all that
Mhm.
stuff, just for regular standard high touch areas, and we're talking, especially in office buildings, lots of homes where people
Mhm.
grab the back of a chair and they pull the chair out. That's a high touch area, the back of a
Mhm.
chair,
Mhm.
or the light switches, or if they open
Mhm.
a microwave oven or they open the refrigerator door. Those are all high touch areas. Is
Mhm.
this safe on all those high touch areas? And I'm not talking about the disinfecting one, but the regular cleaning solution.
Correct. Every one of those, I'd recommend that on. It's great at cleaning those, the back of the chair too, that dark handprint or whatever color the chair turns. It'll help prevent that over time.
So things like high chairs. It's safe for high chairs for children.
I love it on my kids' high chairs. After spaghetti night, after I clean the kid up and move him over the side, then I got to deep clean my house, as I'm sure we're all aware. So I got to clean the ceiling and the walls and the windows. I use our Patho Clean cleaner everywhere to do that.
So if that's true, following
Mhm.
that logic, is that also safe then for children's plastic toys?
Correct. Yes, it is. It's a great cleaner for that as well. So you're not leaving behind the residue on that toy that will likely inevitably go in somebody's mouth.
Well, and I'm thinking little kids. Little kids put everything inside their mouths, right? So all the plastic toys, the beads, the bassinets, I'm thinking all of those areas where the kid, gnaws on it with their teeth while they're teething. That's safe for that.
My 1-year-old at home, yes. Pet toy is great for that as well. My dog, he was scared of storms for a little bit, and he would chew really, really hard, and his gums would bleed a little bit. So he'd get a little bit of blood on his toy and then on the carpet. PathoSans cleaner took care of all of that, no problem.
Well, thank you, Tyler. This has been so informative, and I've just really enjoyed our time together. I hate that our time is up, but please will you stay in touch with us and keep us posted? And then also, I'm going to leave links in the show notes so that our friends can get in touch with you and they can also get their starter kits and just give this a try and see how they like it. And I want you guys to leave comments, leave your experiences, and then we'll have Tyler jump in and answer questions, anything that you guys have that comes up after today if you're watching the replay.